Welcome to TopBond TV. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you for tuning in and welcome once again. I hope everybody is staying safe, right? You are putting on your mask and then, your nose, your face shield, your goggles, and all of that. Yes, try and stay safe, all right? All right, so recently I was on YouTube Live and I spoke about salt, sodium chloride. It was a 1 hour video, which I started getting complaints that people could not actually watch the whole 1 hour. So if I can actually summarize it so that all the information could be shortened, it would be great. Some people watch to some extent and then they feel like they missed out, so they need a summary. So today, I just said let me just summarize it and then put it out there so that your little questions, your simple questions will be answered through this summarized video. Okay, so now let's talk about salt, the salt that we eat. Why do you eat salt? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. Why do you eat salt? Some people they just eat salt because without knowing the benefits of salt. Somebody is probably thinking about iodine. When we eat salt, we get iodine or iodine from salt. I don't know how true that is, but I believe that we have different kinds of salt. We have iodinated salt, and then we have the regular salt. So the regular salt, which is treated with iodine, becomes iodinated salt. So I don't know about those who eat the regular salt. How do they get the iodine? But today, I'm just gonna speak about salt in general. Okay, salt in general. So let's look at some benefits of salt. Benefits of salt. The body uses salt for the balance of fluids in the blood and maintain healthy blood pressure. Salt helps to maintain your blood pressure. When I say blood pressure, a good blood pressure or a perfect blood pressure is 120/80. Okay? So the top number is called systolic, the bottom number is called diastolic. The top number, which is systolic, has a range. The range between, let's say, 90 to 140, based on the hospital's policy, is considered normal. And then the range for the diastolic, between 50 to 90. Some people say 60 to 90. It's all based on the hospital's policy. It's also considered normal. But a perfect blood pressure is 120/80. And how do you maintain this perfect blood pressure or a normal blood pressure? By eating salt. But this does not mean we have to eat too much salt. Don't forget, too much of salt actually could mess up the body. As the saying goes, too much of everything is bad. So you can't eat too much salt. If we have to eat salt, we have to eat salt in moderation. At most 5 grams a day. When I say 5 grams, it simply means 1 teaspoon. It is all and then you get more salt and then you put it in the food. It's actually a bad practice. You might end up eating more than what you are supposed to do. More than what you are supposed to eat. So, yes, we need to eat salt, but we need to eat it in moderation, okay? Yes, eating too much salt, what is the consequences? What are the consequences of eating too much salt? Why do we have to eat salt in moderation in the first place? Eating too much salt could cause hypertension, high blood pressure. It could also cause heart failure. When I say heart failure, that means there is fluid around your heart, and that causes heart failure. Your heart cannot work as or cannot function as normal as it's supposed to function. It could also cause heart attack. Okay? It could also cause water retention. Your body will retain fluids. Instead of say when you drink water, you have to actually excrete somehow the same amount of water, or maybe a little less than what you drank. But this is the case when you drink the water, whatever that you excrete is probably lesser, way lesser than how much you are supposed to excrete or pee. And in that case, you'll be retaining fluids. There's a consequences for that. What are the consequences of retaining fluids in the body? Remember, sometimes some people, when they are walking for a very short distance, they'll be very tired and they can't even catch their breath. You know, some people, when they take the stairs, like 2 flights of stairs, they have to stand there and then catch their breath before they can continue. This could be a reason that maybe the person is retaining fluids. And when you are retaining fluids, what happens is there will be fluids, filled in your lungs. So when you breathe in, if your lungs is supposed to expand like that, now because there is also fluid filled in your lungs, it will actually expand like this. So that means your lungs cannot actually get enough air for you to breathe normally. And that's why you will start, having shortness of breath. So, water retention in the body is really a bad thing, and you will really have a bad experience going through that. It could even cause stroke, and it could also cause osteoporosis. Your bones will be brittle, like for no reason. Okay, that means your bones are soft. So we need salt, but we need it in moderation. Too much salt, can cause all these conditions. Okay, now let's look at some signs and symptoms of high blood pressure. I must say, go through any of these symptoms, you have to see your doctor. It could be that you are retaining fluids and your doctor may have to put you on a diet. What kind of diet? Low salt diet. That means you may have to eat very little salt or no salt at all. They don't add salt because their doctor have told them so. And in that case, you have to go with it before it be whatever that you are going through. If it's high blood pressure, which is hypertension, it doesn't get worse. Okay, so some signs and symptoms of hypertension could be a nosebleed. When there is too much when you have hypertension, then the vessels in your nose, around your nose, might burst, and then before you know, your nose is bleeding. Nosebleed, scientifically we call it epistaxis. Okay, we have other signs and symptoms of we also have other signs and symptoms of hypertension. Okay, you could have like a headaches. Then you have like a chronic headache. Before now you didn't have that, but all of a sudden we started having some headaches. You don't know where it is coming from. Go and see your doctor. Get your blood pressure checked. It could be that you are retaining fluids and you may have to modify your diet. You may have to start eating low salt diet. Or say, I feel dizzy. I feel lightheaded. It could be because you have what? You have too much blood. You have hypertension. So when this happens to you, go see your doctor. Make sure you are okay. Make sure you are not retaining no fluids, and that would help a lot. Okay. Now, how would we even know that we are eating too much salt or not? And how do we even cut on salt? How do we cut it? How do we stop eating more salt? Sometimes we eat salt without knowing we are eating too much salt. We don't do it deliberately. It just happens. But how do we even know how or the sources of these, salt? I'm not saying that actually we should stop eating salt, but we have to eat it in moderation, like I said before. One thing that you should know is without salt, if you don't eat salt, you will die. So you need to eat salt. Salt has so many benefits. Okay? Salt has so many benefits. Like I said, apart from it maintaining a healthy blood pressure, it also helps with our muscles. It helps with our muscles to function. So we need salt, no matter what. Now let's look at some sources of salt. Now, when you want to cut down on salt, you have to eat fresh foods than processed foods. When I say fresh foods, I mean fresh tomatoes, fresh peppers, Some people only use tinned tomatoes, tomato sauce, corned beef, sardines, and all of that. Don't forget, processing food, salt play a big role in processing foods. So, if you are somebody who like these, canned foods, then you have to cut on them. Even if you eat them, this is what I will tell you: make sure it is labeled no salt, or maybe it is labeled low salt, either no salt or low salt, or maybe it is also labeled salt reduced. In that case, you are sure that the salt in it is lesser. Okay, at least you know it is lesser. Don't just buy it because so right now you might not feel it, but as time goes on, you will know you are building up disease for yourself. That now when you're hypertension, sad truth is African Americans or Africans, Australians, these are some of the people that I can tell you have problems with hypertension because we eat too much salt. Okay, so let's cut down on salt. Apart from these canned foods, just try as much as possible to exercise. When you exercise and then you touch your body, when you sweat, sweat tastes like what? Salt. So that's another way of losing salt from the body. Okay, so in a situation whereby you find yourself exercising too much, that means you may be losing too much salt. Meanwhile, you need salt, right? So that means you have to be drinking what? Energy drinks. These energy drinks like Red Bull, we have some energy drinks people who go to the gym take. Yes, these energy drinks have some sort of vitamins or minerals in it, and sodium is part of it. So it kind of replenishes the sodium that you will lose whilst you are exercising. It is only exercise then you have to really cut down salt so that it doesn't become a problem for you. Okay? Yeah, so that it doesn't become a problem for you. I know cutting down on salt is hard. It's really hard, but you have to try. It takes time, but gradually you will get there. All right? Train your taste buds to eat less salt. Don't sit at the table and then put raw salt in food. So you have to add more salt. Okay, and then one last thing that I will say is we have people almost say the leftover of soup. The more you reheat food, there will be some sort of evaporation, and then as it gets to the bottom of the pan, there's more concentration of salt whilst it gets to the bottom of the pan. So I'll tell you this: you'll be out pet and quiet. It's about time you cut that. Okay, you end up eating too much salt, which at the long run it's gonna affect you. Gonna cause these problems that I mentioned before, like hypertension, heart failure, heart attack, water retention, kidney failure, and then osteoporosis. These are some of the problems. There are so many problems that I just intend to talk about these few problems. Like I said, this channel is basically about basic nursing or healthcare stuff. Your simple answers will be found here, and I hope this helps with those who eat too much salt. Cut down on them. Maintain your health. If you want to live long, then you have to start now. Now is the time. Until then, I'll see you again. Bye for now.